What's up, YouTube? It's me, Boston Chris. Welcome to my channel, Boston Chris Comics. So I'm here with a brand new video. I got some books I want to show you guys, some stuff that I was going to actually end up showing for my last week's haul, but I wasn't able to get the time this weekend to go ahead and do a haul video because for the most part I was busy and I got to do something that was really actually kind of fun, which was go ahead and see Black Panther. Black Panther was a really good movie. I was actually really looking forward to it from the previews, and then you hear all the different hype and everything like that, talking about what people thought about it. And as much as I wanted to, as excited as I was, as much as I really wanted to go ahead and buy into it, I wanted to keep a level head and not get my expectations up too high so that I didn't enjoy the movie. And I didn't. It was my expectations were right where they needed to be. Thought it was going to be good, and really, they knocked it out of the park. It was a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, get out to the theater and see it if you get a chance. When I went, the theater was just about packed, so still doing strong numbers. People really are responding to that movie. Looking forward to what they do next. Obviously, they're going to be moving into Infinity War, so this movie only made me more excited for the next one. As a standalone movie, it's really good. A different direction completely from the other Marvel movies, but really good, and I enjoyed it a lot. But let's get into the books. So, have some books that I was going to show, that I wanted to show actually over the weekend and everything, but I didn't have time to make a video. But started off with Marvel 2-in-1 number 3. So this is the Fate of the Four, kind of teasing that reintroduction of the Fantastic Four. It's been pretty cool so far. I've actually liked it a lot. I love that they brought back Marvel 2-in-1. I love those old titles. Those are really fun ones. If they can bring back maybe like if they start making new characters like Marvel Spotlight and Premiere, definitely want them to bring back What If. I can't. I really, Marvel, please. What If? Those books are so fun. Anyway, but yeah, definitely a fun title to pick up if you're a Fantastic Four fan. Check it out. It's got some pretty cool stuff going on. There's been a lot of little hints and things like that. Other things that people are hoping hint to the Fantastic Four coming into the Marvel Universe again. So, keep our eyes peeled. But for now, loving what they're doing with Human Torch and The Thing. Moving on, we have Old Man Hawkeye number 2. This is actually a really good book. I wasn't, like I said with the first one, I wasn't really quite sure what to expect, and they're really doing good things with that title. I myself, I like Hawkeye, but I'm not like a super fan of his. But this is a really solid story so far, and I'm excited for the whole run of it. Like, I want to see where they go with it. I want to see how everything shakes out for him. Done really well, and it's one that you should be picking up, if you're not already. Definitely a good title. I don't know. I can be honest with you. I don't own Old Man Logan. I've read the synopsis. I've read bits and pieces, but not the whole thing. So as far as I can't really give a good comparison of how it stacks up to Old Man Logan. But I would say, if Old Man Logan is close to or better than this, then I need to go out and get that trade paperback and check it out. But Old Man Hawkeye is really good. You need to be picking that up. I highly recommend that. Next, we have from IDW, G.I. Joe number 248. And what makes this really cool, this issue, so this in itself isn't the cover I necessarily wanted to get. This is the cover that my store had, and this is a retailer incentive variant. So, pretty cool stuff. You get Dr. Mindbender, Zartan, an old picture of Snake Eyes, and then the girl that is Snake Eyes right now. But this is a silent issue, kind of a throwback to G.I. Joe 21, the first appearance of Storm Shadow. This is a silent issue. They have a lot of action, really cool stuff. I have to say that this new Snake Eyes is just brutal. Like, she is extremely brutal. No nonsense type of character. But it's been pretty good since they've done like the whole Death of Snake Eyes thing. I haven't, like, I started out after he died, but I picked up after, at the point when this female Snake Eyes took over, and she hasn't been a disappointment so far. So definitely happy with that title. My shop doesn't get a lot of those. I guess just because there's not a lot of people ordering it, something like that. So whenever I see it, if I see it, I'm able to pick it up. I hope they're able to keep this going because I want to be able to get that whole storyline with that character. But I'm going to continue on. Next we have Flash number 40. Here we have some Gorilla Grodd action here. This is the variant. The regular cover wasn't too bad, but I like the variant. I like the way that they have Grodd, kind of just looking menacing and stuff like that. So pick this one up. Definitely fun times. I love, what they're doing with the Flash over in the Rebirth, DC universe that they're doing right now. Next we have Deadpool and Old Man Logan number 5. So this is a conclusion issue. As a series, it's been okay. I mean, not terrible, not spectacular. Kind of middle of the road. It had its funny moments. It had its bits and pieces of action. I liked it. Not as much as other things, but I did like it. I mean, after reading it, if I could go back and say, what would I tell myself? I'd probably tell myself wait for the trade, but you never know. I figured it could be good stuff, and they had some pretty good moments within the series. So, like I said, not the best, not the worst. Definitely a fun one to read. Would I recommend it to other people? Maybe. I don't know. It all depends on your appetite. I mean, if you're a hardcore Wolverine fan or a hardcore Deadpool fan, it's I don't know. It's hard to tell. It wasn't really a good marriage of the two. I just think that it's kind of it's not quite as bad as like a cash-in book where it's just like, oh, this is just for the money and we just throw in whatever stupid random idea. Like there was a little bit more well thought out and more well planned out than that. But it's still there's other titles you should be picking up. Like I wouldn't break the bank to get this one out. But next up we have really cool title from Image. This is Ice Cream Man. This is issue number 2. Ice Cream Man, the first one was really good. The second one was pretty good. This actually was kind of a sad story about a couple of junkies, and it was strange because they show you how they meet, and as they when they met up, they were first you see them in the state that they're in, then you see how they met up, and it seemed like when they first met up they were doing pretty good, and you just kind of watch them both decline over time, and descend into drug use and everything. And then, in the end, it's one of those situations where a choice has to be made as to who lives and who dies, because I guess that's kind of like how the Ice Cream Man works. He's just kind of he gives me the feeling of kind of like a Crypt Keeper / Angel of Death type deal, where it's just like he shows up in different places, based on the situation. And so he shows up in this one and, kind of offers a choice. And, you see it play out. And they kind of leave it on a cliffhanger as to you don't know what happens specifically with the character in this story. Whether they, find the path to, basically find a path to a better life. Or if they kind of fall back into their old habits and go back into a demise. But like I said, it was kind of a very well written, but it was kind of a sad story. The way that they're doing these Ice Cream Man books so far, it seems like it's kind of like a Twilight Zone episode where it's just like you have your main story, and even though the story arc is about the Ice Cream Man, every book's a different story. It's different people. I haven't seen anything where it's really connected completely, but that's up to them to see if they want to connect it all together or just keep them isolated single stories where somebody meets the Ice Cream Man and then upon that interaction what happens next. So definitely a cool read. I'm liking it so far. It's definitely something I'm going to keep picking up because I like the way that they're telling the stories. So another one I would recommend from Image. Pretty good book. Next up we have Green Lanterns number 40. Number 41. Really cool book. I like the way that they're doing this. This is the regular cover, I think. Yeah. So like I said, I flip-flop back and forth with these, you know, between regular and variant, and you know, really the covers are interchangeable. Sometimes, you know, the variant's better than the regular cover, but the story has been awesome since the get-go. So I'm definitely a fan of this. You know, pick it up every time it's out. You know, and just I've been loving the story all the way. And I can say the same thing with this book as well. Batman number 41. This is a really, really nice cover, and this is just a regular cover. I'm trying to think who does this cover art. If they have it in the beginning. No, DC kind of likes to hide this stuff either in the back or towards the middle of the book. Like they're kind of a strange, like they're not like, okay, so it's the second to last page, but they're not quite the same as like Marvel, who puts it right in the front. But so it says that the cover was done by Mike Janin, or Janin, however you want to pronounce his name. Really, really nice cover. I like this a lot. Got Poison Ivy on the front of it. Really cool stuff. It's been, like I said, along with Flash and along with Green Lantern, and I say this every time, those I think have been really some of the strongest stories that they have in the DC Rebirth right now. So definitely worth picking up. And then we also have a book that I haven't picked up in a long time because it's been on a really, it's been on a pretty good hiatus for a while, and that is Heathen. Got Heathen number 6 here. Get to go ahead and catch up with the adventures of Adis, and you know, this has been a book that you know, has been really good all throughout. It's all about this girl who you know, is basically trying to she goes against tradition and kind of follows her heart and tries to, you know, go against what's been put in front of her as far as you know, what her father wishes and things like that. And she basically is kind of dealing with a bunch of gods and things like that, you know, the Norse gods and stuff, and she's on her way to talk to Odin to kind of set things right and basically go ahead and, you know, resolve her story. And it's been really cool. Like I've liked the way that they've done this. It's been really well done, well written. The art is pretty good as well. But you know, really, these stories are awesome and they flow really nicely. So I can't wait to go ahead and crack this open and get into this book. Just because it's been so long. I want to say it's got to have been at least 4 or 5 months since the last one. So it's put out by Vault, and these have a lower print run. Like, there's not a lot of these out there, but definitely worth the reading. So if you get a chance to see this book in there, especially if you can go back and pick up the earlier issues, definitely get it because it's a really, really good book. I highly recommend it. And finally, for the new books, I have the book that everybody was going nuts about. You know, last week, this was the big one, and I think it's still kind of the big one that everyone's like, oh, you gotta get it, you gotta get it, you gotta get it. Amazing Spider-Man 796. So everybody was, you know, really excited because they figured that this is going to be the first appearance of the Red Goblin, and turns out it wasn't. And I kind of get the feeling that the Red Goblin's not going to appear until probably, I've heard 798 is the actual first appearance, but I have a feeling they're going to string that out until 800. It's an anniversary issue. You know, I mean, if that's not his first appearance, it's probably going to be, you know, 800 is probably going to be some type of, you know, big event. Something big happens within that. But this book, like I said, is a hot one at my store. I couldn't get multiple copies. I had to just talk to the clerk and ask them to go ahead and, you know, can you give me a copy of this book? She had to go into the desk, pull it out, and, you know, they basically hid them from everybody because they were afraid that people were just going to come in and just, you know, take all of them and then just stow them off and sell them on eBay. So, you know, if you are lucky enough to get one, great. If not, eBay has them, and they're kind of pricey. They're $20. I was happy that I got this off the rack, so I'm not greedy. I just, you know, have mine. So there it is. And just want to go ahead and round out with a couple of back issues, like I always try to do. So I got a couple of back issues through the mail, through eBay. And the first one is kind of cool. It's actually a pretty fun story. And the whole reason why I bought this is because of the fact that I actually met this guy. I met him at Boston Comic Con 2 years ago. Really awesome guy. And his name is Fred Hembeck. And so this is Fred Hembeck Destroys the Marvel Universe. If you know Fred Hembeck, if you read through anything he's done, this is his style. He's a really cartoony style, almost kind of like Foxtrot, I think it's called. Really cool stuff. It's a really funny comic. In the end, he ends up bargaining for his life with Stan Lee, so it's really funny stuff. And I just wanted to kind of show off another thing. So this is from when I met him back 2 years ago. He had gone ahead and did a sketch for me on the Invincible Iron Man. I had brought this over. I wanted to have him do a sketch, and I also had another book signed by him. It was a Secret Wars variant with the Beyonder and Daredevil on the cover. Not Daredevil, Deadpool on the cover. And really cool stuff. Really fun book. Like I said, definitely one that's if you get the chance, it should be pretty fun. Should be pretty cheap. So pick it up. It really is a funny book, and it's kind of a book you don't see all that often. Because I didn't even know this existed until I actually got on eBay and started looking around. So pretty good stuff here. I got it for very cheap. And then the next one is a book that I'm actually surprised I haven't heard of until recently. And so this one is Star Wars number 81. And in this book, this is actually a really awesome story. I read this recently. And so what happens is that this is when Boba Fett comes out of the Sarlacc pit. He climbs his way out and is picked up by a bunch of Jawas. And what happens is that he actually ends up kind of really just disoriented from being in the pit and everything like that, and loses his memory, so he has no idea who he is. And turns out that he ends up running into Han Solo and everybody inside of basically. So the Jawas are just doing their thing, and Han Solo ends up going to where they're at, and he runs into Boba Fett, and Boba Fett is defending the Jawas from some stranger, and so he puts his gun up, and he's just like and he's just kind of like Han Solo's just kind of like this, and he has no idea who he is. So for a little bit, they start working with each other, kind of, to help each other out and everything like that. They're just kind of friendly and then, not doing anything bad. And then what happens is that someone calls his name. So the Jawa tank is kind of teetering towards going back into the Sarlacc pit. And someone says Han Solo's name, and it says, Han, watch out. And he's just like, Han Solo! He remembers exactly who he is, and he tries to kill Han Solo. And Han Solo, dodges and escapes. And he offered to try to help Boba Fett before the tank falls back in the Sarlacc pit. But Boba Fett refuses, and he ends up falling to what would be his death again. So even though he escaped the Sarlacc pit, he kind of dies in the Sarlacc pit. And I haven't read anything further than this issue in the Star Wars, Marvel Star Wars universe. So as far as I know, or as far as everything, like this seems to be like a second death of Boba Fett. Like if you count Return of the Jedi as his first death, then he comes out and then kind of dies again. So really good stuff. Definitely a fun read. These old Star Wars books have some pretty cool stories in them. I'd like to see if I can get some more. I know that with Star Wars being a more hot property and everything like that, it's going to be a little bit tough to try to get some of the older issues and stuff like that. I know the original issues, like number 1 and all that jazz, like they're tough to get, but they're a little expensive. Number 1 is very expensive, but there's a few of them that I'd like to track down. Definitely a couple that I have on my list, but really good stuff. Like and it's one of those things where I didn't really get to read much Star Wars as a kid because. What's the year on this? This doesn't say. I can look it up. I'm pretty sure this is somewhere in the, probably like early 80s, like 82, 83. I was a baby at that time, and by the time, I had grown up, I was so focused on X-Men that I didn't even think about these. So, but definitely fun stuff. So you should be checking out those Star Wars books if you have them, or if you have a chance to get them, pick them up. Pretty good stuff in there. Anyway, that's been my video, so I'm gonna get going. It's gone on a little bit longer than I probably should have. You know, got into talking about the books, but I want to thank everybody for watching. Again, there's been a bunch of new people that have subscribed to me, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys all a proper shout out on my next video, just to kind of get everybody together, because I don't want to just kind of try to rattle off names off the top of my head. So for everybody who's subscribed to me, thank you very much. For everybody who has been a long-time subscriber, again, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I'm going to have a couple more videos this week. I hope. Definitely have an act of kindness that's coming to me, and also I have a this week's haul as well. So stay tuned. I have some stuff for you to check out. And again, this has been Buckshot33, aka Boston Chris. I'm out. Have a great night. See you guys later.